Movie time! Movie time! Movie time! Alright, for years now, for millennia, I have been thinking about the hype surrounding this one movie, and it is called, put it here, alright, for later, put it here, Hereditary, 2018, by a director. I saw this in theaters because the hype surrounding it was incredible. We had such tweets, you know, coming down the pike, such as City Boy, exclamation mark, shouting emoji, says, bro, have y'all seen Hereditary? Ian says, Hereditary, still the GOAT. Hereditary is one fucked up film. Strange Harbors, in replying to Sleepy Skunk, says Hereditary is number one. Oh my lord. Number one, Hereditary, heartbreaking and terrifying in equal measure. Ugh. No thank you. And I'm here to tell you the hype was wrong. So take a seat with me. That was my phone. Why did I throw that? Can I have that? Thank you. So let's take a seat. Let's take a listen. Let's go through our favorite movie, Hereditary. That's gonna happen the whole time. That's gonna be there the whole time. Ugh. All right. As the movie begins, we see the main motif of this film. Really just small houses, small mini things. We're also introduced to an even bigger motif, that the camera, it moves so slow. The camera moves at a snail's pace. Slowest camera work. Get it real nice and slow. Slow zoom. Slow zoom right in there. Yep, get in on that house. Keep going. You're almost into that room. You're almost there. You're almost there. Okay, we know the target is the room. Can we just... Alright, come on. Blah, blah, blah. So we're introduced to the character of Peter. He's asleep. And the dad is not. That is their character so far. So the family is making preparations to go to their grandmother's funeral. So here we're introduced to Charlie, the child, the little girl here. And we're also introduced to the father's, like, barely contained accent.
It was freezing last night. That's how you get pneumonia.
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 Incorrect, sir. So they all go to the grandmother's funeral, where the mother is about to give the worst eulogy of all time.
My mother was a very secretive and private woman. She had private rituals, private friends, private anxieties. It honestly feels like a betrayal just to be standing here talking about her.
I'm sorry, if you're at a funeral, even if you hated the woman, you gotta be like, yeah, you know, she'll be missed. You know, she was great, she had a lot of great mannerisms. Or something. You don't say, like, yeah, she was real secret and she did rituals.
She had private rituals.
It's a red flag. And it's at this point that we're introduced to Charlie's odd mannerism of going. Don't ask me why. It's just arbitrary. It's just an arbitrary mannerism. It could have been anything. She could have, like, she just snaps intermittently and she just goes, ah, like that. Could have been anything, but it chose to go with, yep, just close that book. Close that book right up. No one wants to see that book. No one dares see that book.
There aren't nuts in that, are there?
There aren't nuts in that chocolate bar, are there? Sorry, did you say nuts, sir? Sorry, did you say nuts? I'm sorry. Did you say nuts? Oh my god, what does the mom have to say about this? What does the mom have to say? Does she have anything to say about these nuts?
Does that have nuts? Because we don't have the EpiPen.
Oh my god, are there nuts? Oh my god, are there nuts in this chocolate bar?
Are there nuts in this chocolate bar? Are there nuts in this chocolate bar?
Could potentially the nuts in this chocolate bar be indicative of an allergy that could show up later in the film? Potentially, is this exposition? Is this exposition? I'm mad.
So they go home and we get a look into the mother's artwork, which is making these like miniature houses. That's her medium, I guess. And not I guess. It is her medium. It is her medium. And it's entitled hypothetical for 1 second. If you are an artist and your job is to make small shit, like that's my medium. I make stuff that's real small, and you know, the art, for whatever reason, the art museum's like, love it, love it, love it. We'll take it. We'll take every last one of your small things so we can make an exhibition, all right? All that's left is that you need to title your exhibition, and what is it called? What do you think? What do you think it's called? It's called Small World. Small World. It's small! Oh my god, this movie's so boring. Holy shit. So the parents go and they like, you know, tuck the kids into bed. They tell them good night. As the mom is tucking the daughter, Charlie, into bed, Charlie hits her with this zinger. Charlie really hits him with that zinger.
She wanted me to be a boy.
And then Toni Collette goes, she goes, ugh. And then the mom continues to close up shop and she might see a ghost. I don't know if you're watching it on like an incorrect brightness level. You might not see it. Come on, movie. Come on, movie. Oh, pigeon! Pigeon hit the window. Pigeon hits the window and one kid goes, and the kid in the back is just going, it's school. It's an education. And then meanwhile in high school, this kid who looks like he's 26. I looked this up earlier. This man, what is his name? 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 What is his name?
Peter from Hereditary.
Yeah, Peter.
Peter. Peter from Hereditary. Peter.
Alex Wolf. He's as old as I am. He was born 15 days before I was. And here he is, sitting his big sweaty face in a high school classroom, quite literally, just staring at this teenager's rumpus. What? Oh my god. Oh my god, he's just staring. Welcome to Hereditary Review. Welcome to Hereditary Review. This is Hereditary Review with me, Hereditary Review Man. I'm here to review Hereditary.
I'm in the process of reviewing Hereditary.
Thank you.
I have a lot of resistance to things like this. My mom was old, and she wasn't altogether there. And my father died when I was a baby. My older brother had schizophrenia. And when he was 16, he hanged himself in my mother's bedroom. And of course, his suicide note blamed her, accusing her of putting people inside him. So, that was my mom's life. I just don't want to put any more stress on my family.
Put stress on your family? Toni Collette, you're stressing me out. You've been talking for 30 minutes about your grandma and her Satanist tendencies. I'm a little stressed out. I feel bad. I feel like I'm trapped.
And then I realize that I am to blame. Or not that I'm to blame, but I am blamed.
I'm sorry, who's blaming who here? Who's to blame? I'm not understanding your syntax. And then Peter gets this text. It says, holy shit, huge party tomorrow at Aaron's. Bring your dick. I guess I better go retrieve that. I guess I better go retrieve my genitalia from my closet that's in an iron box that requires 2 government officials to unlock it with 2 golden keys at the same time. I'll go get it now to go to Aaron's party.
Gonna go to Aaron's party. Gonna go get my dick. Gotta bring my dick to Aaron's party. Aaron's throwing a huge party. I gotta go get my dick.
Oh my god, I don't like this movie. So there's this kid now walking around with a pigeon head. Here's this kid, alright? She's got a pigeon head, and it's not real, it's fake, because it's a movie. I think now is a good time to address the fact of this child's appearance. And I think it would be in poor taste to, like, rag on her or make fun of her for her appearance. But I think I'd like to bring to everyone's attention that it is due to her appearance that someone wanted to cast her in this movie. Her character is intrinsically unnerving. So the person that cast her thought that her appearance was similarly unnerving and would unnerve audiences. I don't know, something about that whole situation doesn't feel right, especially because this actress I happen to know has started a whole, like, anti-bullying, is very prominent in that scene. She might have started a charity, but she's doing good work, you know, fighting against that sort of, like, childhood discrimination while the higher-ups in Hollywood are similarly discriminating her based on her appearance. Pop. That's all I'm saying. It just makes me feel weird. It makes me pause. It makes me feel weirder than how this movie makes me feel. Movie does not make me feel weird. Casting decision makes me feel weird. Play. Man, this movie's boring. Let's go to a party. Let's have a party scene. Complete with, you know, guy who's doing this the whole time, like, what's going on? There's that guy came to that party. Oh my god, we have kid who stands in the corner perfectly straight drinking. I love that kid. Oh my god. I adore this kid. They got chopping nuts at this party.
Pulverize the nut meat.
They have kid who's having an allergic reaction. That kid, you know, that kid at the party. The kid who's having
An allergic reaction because clearly they are allergic to nuts and did not notice the massive walnut chunks of nut in the cake. I welcome to my ASMR channel. Are there nuts in that?
There aren't nuts in that either.
Are there nuts in that cake? Clearly there are.
Alright, so we got kid who's doing this, kid who's doing this, kid who's eating the cake, kid who's about to have an allergic reaction because of cake, and now we have kid who is rapidly exiting the party because his friend is having an allergic reaction. Everyone's here. It's a dope party. Oh my god, we got a fucking hospital kid. Take me to the hospital kid is here. Take me to the hospital kid? I remember Take Me to the Hospital kid at all my high school parties. He went to the hospital. Oh my god. Here comes the best part. We're gonna go to the best part of this movie. Oh, he swerves, and he swerves, and he swerves, and he swerves. Out of the park! Kid hit her head on a telephone pole. That kid is dead.
That's my favorite part of this movie.
Oh! You know, it's scenes like this in movies where, you know, it kind of makes you ask yourself, like, what would I do in that situation? What would I do if my sister was having an allergic reaction from nuts and then there was... Shut up. Be quiet. What would I do if my sister was having an allergic reaction or whatever, and then there was a deer or something, and I swerved and I knocked her head off, which doesn't really seem how heads work. I think, you know, her head was not on there tight enough. But anyway, what would you do? What would you do in that situation? The movie has figured out what the worst possible thing to do in this situation is, and that is just to drive home and go to bed. Just fall asleep and let your mother's wails of agony wake you up in the morning. Dumb movie. Dumb movie. And this is the part where the movie really just slows down. I mean, the whole thing is slow. The whole movie is slow, but golly. All these just real slow shots. They're just real slow shots. Now, the purpose of these shots is to build suspense, right? Because you don't know what's going to be in that hallway, that long, slow hallway shot. But the thing is, there's nothing ever in that hallway shot until maybe the last 30 or 20 minutes of the movie. The way the horror in this movie is broken down is that the dead grandma appears once, maybe, in the art room. She's just kind of there, like... She's just kind of there. And then the kid dies, and I guess that in itself is kind of scary, but that's like a really intense Lifetime movie kind of scary. Like, that's just real life. You know what I mean? And then there's like a shot that I don't want to show on YouTube that's just like this kid's head covered in ants. Shut up, movie. I don't really want to show it on YouTube, but the scariest thing up to this point is just the image of like the head having fallen off. And it just doesn't stack up. It's just a head. It's just kind of a bloody head. And you watch any other horror movie, all these B-rate horror movies make sure to like create these... all these B-horror movies make sure to create these like intricate models so you can like rip a man in half and have his guts trail out. Like a bloody head, I'm sorry, it does not stack up for the fear factor. Now what I think this movie does a good job of doing is it kind of gives you the sense of like what is lurking in the shadows, and like there might be someone in my house, and that in itself is scary, but that's only in the last 20 minutes. Up until then, it's just like, as I said, an intense Lifetime movie. Let's speed this up. Can we speed this up at all? So everyone deals with this loss in different ways, you know? The mom, like, wails about it.
I just want to die.
And the brother, like, has his best bro hold his hand.
Just hold my hand. Hold on.
Hold my hand, bro. Come here, hold my hand. Joe, come here.
No.
Joe, hold my hand.
I'm gonna hold your hand.
No, come here. I want you to hold my... This is how I'm coping. Hold my hand. Hold my hand.
Oh
Bro, hold my hand. Bro, hold my hand. Bro! Bro! Bro, I'm coping so hard. Disgusting. Oh my god. And then the mother like goes to the AA for emotions and then turns around. But she is stopped by a lady running in front of her car going, "Stop." This woman... Oh my god, there he goes. So they're sitting at dinner, eating lettuce weird. Can we have something happen in this movie?
Is there something on your mind?
Is there something on your mind?
Is there something on your mind? I don't know. Is there something on your mind? That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Is there something on your mind? That's not how that works.
Say
Okay, so try again. Release yourself.
Oh, release you mean?
Yeah, fine. Release me. Just say it. Just fucking say it.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Do you understand? All I do is worry and slave and defend you, and all I get back is that fucking face on your face! So full of disdain and...
Face on your face. I guarantee you that was not written. That was not a written line. That was Toni Collette improving, which is a common acting practice. Face on your face, though? Face on your face? Face on your face?
People in the theater heard "Face on Your Face" and were like, "Toni Collette, take this Oscar. Take this Oscar, Toni Collette. Take it." Whatever. So then the day after, the mom goes to the store, picks up some art supplies, and this old lady, the nice old lady, you remember the old lady that went, "Don't run into me. Please, don't run into me." She is there for whatever reason. That's not suspicious. And she invites her back to her home. That's not still suspicious. And then they say, "Let's have a seance." That's not suspicious. "I can resurrect my dead son." That's not suspicious. The old lady's the bad guy, obviously, at this point. So the way I've realized it, the way that this horror movie keeps up the horror is every now and then they'll add the... And so every now and then they'll just put that noise in there to maintain the horror genre. Like, a lot of things could just be replaced with other things and the movie would remain intact. And that is a sure sign of poor filmmaking, in my opinion. For example, the motif of the miniatures. The mom could be an artist of any medium. She could paint paintings. She could like do 3D like graphic design in computers. And the aesthetic of the movie could be based off of her artwork, because in this movie the aesthetic or whatever is based off of the miniatures. But it's so arbitrary. It's like, what did the miniatures have to do with anything? What do they have to do with the plot? Like, it's just so random. It has nothing to do with anything. And it's like, okay, she makes miniatures, make the camera work, make everything look like it's a miniature. But if she painted paintings, it'd be like, okay, let's change up the palette and make everything look like as though it were a painting. And this is both like the first shot and the last shot that we see. But it's such an arbitrary motif that it doesn't mean anything. The last shot could just zoom out, and instead of a miniature, it's all on a painting, and it would technically have the same effect. I want to deactivate. I want to pull my plug. Pull the plug on my dialysis machine. And then Toni Collette starts sleepwalking, and it's like, oh look, there's ants. Scary. Oh look, she was on fire. Scary. People are screaming. Please stop! Scary. I liken the horror genre and the comedy genre to each other because the point of a horror movie and the point of a comedy movie are pretty clear in that they should make you scared or laugh respectively. But a lot of times in a comedy movie, the plot itself reflects the genre. The plot itself should be scary. The plot should be scary. This is just like some people die. What I think this movie does, it has a really nice palette. It has a really nice, it has, you know, while slow, I think the camera work and the composition is really nice. And it tricks you into thinking it's a good movie just because a movie has, you know, nice camera work doesn't make it good. It doesn't mean it's good. You have to reflect upon a movie on all sides, and this movie is such a trick. It's such a trick. Just because someone screams and is covered with ants, and the soundtrack is doing this, just because the soundtrack is doing that,
just because the soundtrack is doing that does not make the movie good.
Blah, blah, blah. They try to have a seance. This kid cries a lot. Well, I think that's what makes me most uncomfortable with this movie is how often this 21-year-old man cries fake. I missed. And the plot goes on. And in the proceedings of this seance, exactly what you would expect to happen happens in the seance, and that the mother starts getting possessed or something. And then the father says the best line in the movie. He says, "Make it stop! Make it fucking stop!" Starts running. Make it stop. Make it fucking stop. I don't know what to tell you at this point. And then the movie just keeps going. And some highlights are
when Toni Collette smashes all her miniatures. Cool. When Toni Collette goes to the attic and figures out the plot.
This is my mother's album. And look at this. See the symbol on the necklace my mom gave me? It's her necklace, right? They're both wearing it, and they're wearing it in every photo. This was painted above the body, right? In blood.
Grandma's body is in the attic. Grandma knows the lady who I met. The lady who I met is screeching at my son while he's in high school.
I expel you!
He whacks his head on his desk at high school. And this movie just goes on.
I expel you!
And it's suspenseful, but only because of the soundtrack that goes the whole time. So then Toni Collette gets possessed. There's some ritual going on. Blah, 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 blah. How long is this chase sequence? Okay, it starts here, and it goes until an hour 56. This is a 10-minute chase sequence. In any other movie, in any other genre, this would be unacceptable. He's just A, walking through his house, and then B, being chased through his house by his demon mother, and his mom goes because she's flossing her head off. Everything in this movie seems so arbitrary. Because, and the reason is that I don't really care about any of the characters. The character I care most about is the dad, and he just is burned in front of me. Thank you, movie. Thank you. Thank you, movie. And then the kid jumps out the window and he's the Demon King now. Or something. And I do rather think that the final sequence of him going up in the treehouse and seeing all these naked old people is fine. It's a fine ending. Everything in between everything leading up to the ending was not interesting. I think the soundtrack to the ending was cool. I think the palette for the ending was cool. I don't think the miniature thing is cool. We got him, boys. I'm just gonna offer my final thoughts now because I'm sick of looking at this movie. I'm sick of looking at this movie. I'm sick of hearing about this movie on Twitter. I think one of the things that disappoints me about this movie is that... Can we stop goofing around down there? Oh my lord. I think what really disappoints me about this movie is that you can tell there was a lot of talent behind it. I think that Toni Collette, while she offered maybe a touch of overacting in a lot of sequences, is obviously a strong actress. I think that the cinematography was very strong. And the composition was very strong. The color palette was very strong. However, I think from a writing perspective, this movie could have benefited so much from learning what makes a character likable. The fact that I did not particularly like any of the characters made for an unenjoyable movie. And while the performances may be strong, it doesn't change the fact that I don't like the character. Should you watch this movie, I think, yes. I think that the shots and the aesthetic... Are you serious? Should you watch this movie, I think yes. I think that the shots and the aesthetic is something to be experienced, and I think it would do everyone well to make their own judgments about this movie. I will remain firm in the fact that I do not think that this plot was well thought out. You think that about wraps it up?
That was like 45 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna edit it down.
That was like more than an hour.
Alright, okay, we're done. We're done. I got that out of my system. I just really don't like that movie, I'm sorry.